The best home selling tips about staging a home boils down to knowing what not to fix when selling your house. In fact, knowing what not to fix is just as important as knowing what you should fix when selling your house. Home sellers are often advised by their friends or real estate agents to upgrade this or add that to increase the value of the home they're getting ready to sell. These tips for selling your home are often well-intentioned, but sadly, it's just not good advice. In this video, I'm going to explore the importance of properly staging a home, the top 10 highest returning renovation projects that add to the bottom line and what doesn't. You might be surprised just how little control you have over the value of your home. Look, with over 1,000 homes sold, the home selling tips provided here about staging a home are worth their weight in gold. Home staging is a broad category. Many operations that sell staging services pitch the idea that staging a home is nothing more than bringing in furniture and cute knickknacks to allow the home buyer to visualize, feel comfortable, and linger longer. While this is certainly part of the overall home staging mission, it's only a small part of a much larger home staging undertaking. If each step in the home staging recipe isn't valued, the project could easily fall into the putting lipstick on a pig category, and that's the kiss of death. What should you not fix when selling your house? What should you fix when selling your house? What upgrades add value to a house? What are the most profitable home renovations? Almost every home seller asks these kinds of questions. What you learn here should answer the question about what you should not fix when selling your home. Also, I'm going to provide you a download link to a PDF with over 100 different home renovation projects, complete with the average return on investment. Also, depending on what you choose to fix or not fix could have lasting implications. Near the end of this video, I'm going to provide you some nasty insider information about a strategically diabolical underhanded tactic used by buyer's agents as an abuse against sellers. If not nipped in the bud, could easily cost you thousands in unnecessary expense. This is information worth knowing, so stick around, you won't want to miss this. Before we get too deep, there are 3 real-world critical path issues we must understand. First, most home sales involve an appraiser. Appraisers can be the bane of a home seller's existence. They are governed by inflexible rules designed to protect the lender. Here is a real-world example. Early in my real estate career, I had a seller who purchased a new home from a builder 2 years earlier on a newly developed street tucked in a 22-year-old subdivision. All the newly constructed homes on the street were purchased from the builder, ranging in price from $210,000 to $225,000, but the surrounding established subdivision with similar sized housing was in the $160,000 to $170,000 price range. At the time of listing the seller's home, I had a comparable sale that was 5 months old for $225,000 on the same street. We listed for $225,000, went under contract in less than a week, and by the time the appraiser rolled up to do his job, the comp was over 6 months old. The appraiser refused to use the comp, and the home appraised for $170,000. I sold this house a total of 3 times for $225,000 each time. Appraisal results, $170,000, $172,000, $170,000. The moral to the story is it doesn't matter what you do to improve your home, because when an appraiser is involved, he is restricted by previous usable comparable sales. Here's the second thing we must understand. The buyer will not share our taste. I met with a seller to list her home, and I asked why the carpet had a new, that new smell, and she said, well, the carpet was so bad I wanted to get it changed before I put my house on the market. When I asked, well, why did you choose this color? She said, well, it matched my sofa. It was beige with a hint of mauve. I sold this home myself, and the buyer said to me, hey, don't tell the seller, but we're just going to change out that carpeting. I asked, well, what are you changing it out to? And she showed me the sample. It was beige. Not really that much different, but enough of a difference that the $6,000 the seller spent to replace the carpet was a 100% financial throwaway. I had one buyer say, "Finally, nasty green shag carpeting. I could work on my motorcycle engine in the living room and not feel guilty." But the fact is, everyone has their own taste and their own needs. When we try to anticipate what someone will like, we're more often than not completely wrong. Don't waste your money. Finally, the third thing we must understand, let's say we have a home in a solid $300,000 subdivision, and years earlier when I bought the home, I installed my prized solid gold Tiffany's tub faucet with ruby and diamond inlaid handles. The cost of the faucet was $100,000. Now it's time to sell my $300,000 home with my prized $100,000 solid gold faucet installed. How much will my home appraise for? That's right, not $400,000, but $300,000. Take the faucet with you. The appraiser will give you nothing for it. You can apply this principle to most every upgrade in your home. Improvements are for what is called use and enjoyment. As a young person, the first home I purchased to live in after college, I spent $40,000 and installed a swimming pool. Keep in mind, I knew this was 100% financial throwaway, but I wanted my house to be the place our large family would prefer to gather. I wanted my home to be the hub for entertainment. My goal was achieved, and for years, everyone has gotten use and enjoyment out of that swimming pool. That's the only reason upgrades should be done, use and enjoyment. Now, with that said, there are circumstances where improvements can make a desirability or a perceived value difference. Let's say we have a buyer's market and there's a lot of seller competition. There are things you can do to make your home more desirable in the eyes of the buyer. At the end of the day, though, it's a losing financial exchange of dollars for the formation of buyer desire. If you must do upgrades, here are the top 10 that return the most on your investment. Basically what this says is if you spend $10,000 on a window replacement, you can expect $7,300 in sale proceeds. Now, congratulations on the loss of $2,700 for the upgrade. Now, if the upgrade was done at the time of purchase, it's a great deal because the use and enjoyment of the windows. Utility expense is reduced, and we get to enjoy all the other things that go along with new windows. But if it's being done as an upgrade to sell your home, it's just not a profitable endeavor. Here's an interesting fact. In the spirit of simple math, let's say in a subdivision of 2-story homes, the first floor and second floor of every home is 1,000 square feet for a total of a 2,000 square foot living area. Over the last 12 months, every home in the subdivision has sold for $200,000. Then a home comes on the market in the same subdivision with an 800 square foot finished basement for a total of 2,800 square feet. Will the seller be able to sell the home for $280,000 and receive an appraisal that will support that sales price? In my part of the country, not a chance in the world. More realistically, I can show you example after example of 2-story homes with finished basements where that 2,800 square foot home sells for the same price as every other home in the subdivision. I'm not sure why, but in these examples, a finished basement is essentially a 100% financial throwaway. I mean, it's wrong, but I've seen it over and over again in the 2-story home product. In fact, Equity Finder does an amazing job at uncovering size value property. This illustration is a perfect example of a size value home. Hey, as you move through this video, if you find there's some value in what I'm delivering, please take a half a second and click the like button for me. It lets me know I'm doing a good job and delivering value to you as a listener. So thank you for that. The bigger question at hand, though, is what things can you do to a home that will actually generate benefits that exceed the expense? Okay, let's make a distinction right here between upgrades and repairs. They are different. Upgrades are things we should do to enjoy our homes for years to come, and not in an effort to increase the value. Upgrading for profit in most cases is a pipe dream, rooted in the yarn spun by slick vinyl siding and window sales pros. What's worse is adding these upgrades in preparation of a sale. In virtually every case, the cost of the upgrade far exceeds the financial rewards. So don't do it. Repairs, on the other hand, are things that must be fixed to avoid the wrath of the inspector. These fixes are totally different from upgrading the old energy inefficient garage door to the new triple insulated garage door. If the ugly garage door doesn't function, replace it, because the inspector will flag it and you will be replacing it to the standard acceptable to the buyer. But look, don't get caught in that trap. If the ugly garage door is functional, paint it. Don't replace it. The goal is to improve desirability and condition to a threshold that keeps the buyer from nailing you financially after inspections. Just so you know, with over 1,000 sold homes, I've never had one client mention anything about the quality of the garage door. No one cares when they're buying a home. On the flip side, you can be rest assured there is something highly cared about, and if a misstep is made, can spell doom for the seller. What's worse is that the sellers are oblivious to this danger until it's upon them. There is a provision in the real estate contract that provides an easy out for the buyer, and that's inspections. Essentially, if the buyer doesn't like the results of the inspection, they can cancel the contract. The problem is now the seller is burdened with a potentially ugly inspection report that is now required to be part of seller's disclosure. And what do you think buyer number 2 is going to want? That's right. Whatever you do, don't lose buyer number 1. Here's the real problem. Buyer's agents know this, and in my opinion, buyer's agents often act in bad faith, exploiting their brief position of leverage and power granted within the inspection and renegotiation provision of the contract. Rather than working to create a win-win for all parties, here is the kind of nonsense you get to deal with. Let's say a board needs to be replaced on a wood deck. This is literally an easy $10 do-it-yourself homeowner fix, but the buyer's agent will require that a qualified contractor correct the problem. Or more likely, the buyer will just knock $1,000 off the contract price. I know this sounds crazy, but it happens all the time because of this temporary leverage granted to the buyer's agent. Let me be clear, I'm not saying attaching a dollar figure to deficiencies is a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, but what typically happens is that the proposed dollar figure is unreasonable. In fact, so unreasonable at times, the sellers feel like they're being extorted. And in a way, that's exactly what's happening. And no one wants to be hijacked. But the last thing you're going to want to deal with is an ugly inspection report. Often, sellers do what they can to make a challenged home look pretty. This is called putting lipstick on a pig. Don't be that seller. It'll backfire. The best thing to do is strive to eliminate anything that can be used against you. It's not always possible, but it should be the goal. First and foremost, don't put lipstick on a pig. Get an inspection and repair all the deficiencies on your own terms. Provide that inspection report and all the repair invoices along with the seller disclosure. Chances are the buyer will elect to save the $500 hiring his own inspector and just use your inspection report. If the buyer does this, there is a high probability you're in the clear. Look, the best thing you can do for your home is resolve inspection deficiencies. Once you get the inspection items addressed, here are a handful of things you can do to improve your home's desirability without throwing thousands of dollars away to do it. These are simple, inexpensive, and highly effective modifications that are subtle but make a lasting impression. First, replace dull and undesirable kitchen and bath faucets. Faucets are a focal point. If it's ugly, well, need I say more? And this goes for the rest of the list as well. Update knob and pull hardware on kitchen and bath cabinets. Replace exterior door hardware or shine it up and make it look new. Paint the interior and exterior with neutral paint. Bold colors will almost always be a detriment. Paint provides the most bang for the buck. I recently saw a home in a $700,000 subdivision that had sat on the market for nearly a year, and the price had been reduced to $349,000 before it sold. Every room was painted a different neon color. My client said she got a headache while she was in that house doing the tour. Paint would instantly resolve this problem. I had a seller call me to sell her home after it expired from a 6-month listing. I said to the seller, make you a deal. Change the color from baby blue to beige and I'll sell your home. She painted the home and I had it sold in 3 days. Granted, there was a lot of expense in painting the home, but that modification allowed the seller to achieve her goal. Paint is a powerful tool. In my opinion, the best cheap solution available for maximizing desirability for a very low cost is paint. Failure to do these small things can undermine your mission, but paying attention to the details will make all the difference in the world when working to achieve your goal. Here's the thing, all people are not the same. What seems dated to one generation is embraced by another. Just because something isn't cutting edge and up to snuff with the most recent trends doesn't mean it won't sell. Trying to please everyone isn't possible, and at the end of the day, trying this approach can easily become a financial money pit. Look, homes can be old and outdated. People understand this. What makes buyers nervous and reticent about moving forward is neglected defects and poor workmanship or half-done, haphazard corrections. This will send most buyers running for the hills. If anyone tells you to add a bathroom in the basement or a bedroom in the attic, be sure there's a solid, verifiable financial justification to do these things because the expense can far exceed the benefit. Always keep in mind, if your buyer is financing the purchase, the lender relies on the appraiser for an accurate valuation, which typically means the home's value will probably fall within the price range of the subdivision. Don't spend the money for upgrades if the math doesn't prove out. At the end of this video, I'll put 2 cards. The first is 30 free and easy fix-its. I have seen entire transformations when these fix-it steps have been followed. This is definitely worth the watch. And second is 11 painful inspection pitfalls. Know what to address before the inspection occurs. This information is solid gold. Also, I give you a link in this video to download a PDF that itemizes over 200 things inspectors investigate, as well as the over 500 things he doesn't inspect, to save you time so you can focus on the things that really matter. This is information worth knowing. Be sure to watch 30 free and easy fix-its and grab that free download. Also, be sure to watch 11 painful inspection pitfalls. Grab the free PDF download that has over 200 items mechanical inspectors evaluate. Thanks for the like, and I will see you on the flip side.